Hello again, people. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So we've got another property out at the Bluewater Lake, very close to Bluewater. These are really nice properties. I like them. I think there's a lot to like with these properties, and we get a lot of calls and emails about the one that we currently have in inventory that we listed last week. So I anticipate more calls and emails about this one. So let's get to it. This is MKNM-1634, located in McKinley County in the northwest part of the state. This is 5 acres in the Bluewater Lake subdivision, and these 5 acres are priced much like our other 5-acre lot out there, affordably at $14,000. It should be noted, by the way, if you want to check out that other property, we have a link to it right here on the listing page and vice versa. So with all that said, let's pull this up on a map. As with all of our properties, come down here, click any one of these GPS coordinates, and it'll bring it up here on the Google Maps. So this particular property sits right here off of Johnson Ave. It is this 5-acre lot right here, which you cannot see outlined on the map, nor if we go to map view. I will get into specifics of property boundaries just a little bit later in the video, but first let's just talk about where this is in the world. So Johnson Ave is a well-maintained road, takes you down here to Bluewater Road, the 612, a picturesque country road, I'm sure, and you are roughly about a 10-minute drive, 6 miles out here to Thoreau. Thoreau, of course, is going to be the nearest location for groceries and supplies, a little small town out here. Additionally, you're going to have easy access not only to that, but also to the I-40, the interstate here, which will take you into nearby Albuquerque or into Arizona or wherever exactly you want to go. It should also be noted that if you're doing supply runs and you're looking to do something a little bigger, you're going to have Gallup in the west over here and Grants in the east over here. Both of these are major towns that have more big box stores, more fast food restaurants, things like that. Whatever the case, if you're looking for a super Walmart, you've got one in Grants, you got one in Gallup, and if you're looking for a Home Depot, there's one in Gallup. So if you find yourself building out on this property, you need supplies, building materials, whatnot, you're probably going westward into Gallup, FYI. Now, it should also be noted, another one of the nice things about this property is that it sits just adjacent to the Cibola National Forest, to the thousands and thousands of acres that make up the Cibola National Forest. Additionally, as you can see here off the 612, you've got a lot of Forest Service roads that lead here into Cibola National Forest. So if you are a hunter, if you're a person who likes going out there camping, doing the trails, etc., or if you just like, looking for, hunting, as I said, there's going to be a lot of that out here. This area is populated with a lot of elk, mule deer, wild turkey, bear, etc. So things to look forward to. Additionally, let's not bury the headline, guys. We also have the Bluewater Lake, which is only a mere, hang on, let's measure distance, only a mere roughly 3 miles from the property. It should be noted, excuse me, should be noted that Bluewater Lake is a state park. We have actually linked their website on our listing page. So if you come back to the listing page here and you want to dig into that more, you want to learn a little bit more about Bluewater Lake, just come down here, click this link. Cibola National Forest is also linked. Helpfully, however, we have provided photos here in the photo gallery, guys. You can see exactly what this area looks like. Of course, if you have a boat, this is going to be an excellent place to go out and relax. Take it out here, go fishing, go boating, etc. The day our photographer was out here, obviously not much was happening that day, but this area also has some, campgrounds, picnic areas. They also have little campsites set up where you can build fires, things like that, as well as just be surrounded by all this lovely scenery, etc. So obviously a really pretty area, and you are only going to be 3 miles from it. Now, let's just talk about the property a little bit here. So typically when we list these properties, I like to provide plat maps if we can get them. In this particular instance, we were not able to get them. Thankfully, I can usually fall back on map view. Unfortunately, that is not demonstrated here on Google Maps. So down here in the photo gallery, we've got our typical Google Earth representation of where the property starts and ends, size, shape, location, boundaries, etc. This, however, is probably not incredibly helpful for you guys. So I'm just going to show you what I see on my end in my software that demonstrates where the property is. So, by the way, I should just have you guys note this was previously owned by Maynard Properties. We purchased it from Maynard, FYI, but what do you want? Anyway, all right. They still come up as owners of record in the county files because counties do not update in real time. Anyway, so the property sits here right at the end of Johnson Road. It takes you right up to the property here. You will, however, notice there are a number of cutouts and trails that are going through here. Johnson is the legal access to the property. That being said, you also have, for instance, nearby, where's it at here? Hang on. This nearby road, which is called South Pine Canyon. South Pine Canyon leads up this way and will loop into the property. So if you're going out here and you want to scout the land and you take South Pine Canyon, that's not necessarily the legal access. You can get to it, but the roads might be a little tougher. Johnson Drive, however, is a good access road, and I'll show you photos of that in just a second. Whatever the case, the property sits out here. You know, if you look at the way these properties are laid out, you can kind of see it here, or you can kind of see it on Google Maps. Each one of them is sort of a rectangle, and you can see how they're carved out in this region. So this is the subject property right here. I know this is probably not entirely helpful for you guys, but we do have the GPS coordinates provided on the listing page. Those are going to be a fair approximation of the corner points of the lot. Anything more specific than that, you would need, as with all of our properties, to get it surveyed. Whatever the case, square lot, or rectangular lot, excuse me, right out here like this. And I just want to show you guys this little, whatever this thing is, little, I don't know, arroyo that's dug out here. I actually have a little photo of this here in the gallery. That'll give you a sense of exactly how non-intimidating this is. It's just a slight little cutout here right at the back end of the property. Whatever the case, property, rectangular lot located at the edge of Johnson. If you come here and look at the drone photos, you're going to get a better sense of exactly what the land is like out here. Of course, because this sits right at the end of the road, you've got a lot of privacy. All your neighbors are in front of you. Nobody has to drive past you to get out to their property, etc. Additionally, as you look at these photos, what you're going to see, I believe, by the way, my photographer approached the property from Pine Canyon Road, not from Johnson Road. So this in itself still looks very drivable. He said Johnson was you know, in good shape. This South Pine Canyon Road, as it gets out to the property, is really only in decent shape. Johnson can be navigated by most any vehicle type. South Pine Canyon, if you go that route, probably a little less so. Just an FYI. Anyway, power at the nearby property, if you come back here on the map, you can see the neighbors over here and the neighbors over here. And of course, obviously, all of these adjacent properties all have power. So probably not difficult to get extended out to the subject property. We'll get back to that in a second. And additionally, as you go through the photos here, what you can see is that much like our other Bluewater Lake property, this is a really nice area, really picturesque area, surrounded by these sort of these mesas, as well as it's got a lot of flat buildable land. So this is not an area that's too rocky, too hilly. There's no major slopes to it. Should be easy to build on. Don't build there, but you know, should be easy to build on the rest of the 5 acres, etc. So obviously a really nice property. Now, I just want to get back to, I will let you guys peruse through the photos on your own time. That being said, I just want to mention we will have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page once this listing is published. So if you want to get an even better sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings, etc., you can check that out as well as the rest of the photos. In regards to the headline that we have up here, so no zoning or restrictions. Let's talk about that. McKinley County has no formal zoning designation for this land. They have a planning and zoning office, but they don't do a lot of residential planning and zoning. McKinley County will generally defer to homeowners associations, property owners associations, or covenants and restrictions that go with the land. And we go into more detail on this a little bit here. Whatever the case, this property is not part of a homeowners association. It's not part of a property owners association, and there are no covenants or restrictions that come with this land. Now, what this means to me, seems pretty obvious, is that you should be able to do anything out here that you want. And if you take a look at some of these other properties, now, by the way, let me just quickly clarify that. If you want to build a zoo, call the county, talk to the county first, okay? But if you're looking to do anything like a single-family residence, something like that, most likely no one is going to have a problem or objection with that, as long as it's built up to code. If, however, you're one of these people who calls us, who likes, you know, to RV, they want to take their RV somewhere, they want to park it for indiscriminate periods of time, they want to live out of it, you want to do a tiny home, a shipping container home, anything like that, I believe it is very doable in this area. And what I'd like to just point out to you guys, by the way, volunteer fire department, very close by. What I'd like to point out to you guys is just if you come down here and just kind of look at this area where all these residences are at, you kind of zoom in here on the road, and you look at what's out here. I mean, this gives you a fairly good sense of zoning. If I look at a property and I see this many RVs parked on the property, that tells me you can probably do whatever you want out here. They're not enforcing things. They're not very strict about things. Additionally, as you drive up this road, if you do this on Google Maps, if you take the time to do this, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of properties with cars and trailers and whatnot parked on the land. And generally, when there are restrictions on a land or when there are zoning laws that are being strictly enforced, you can't really do those things. Now, you'll notice out here a lot of the neighbors have mobile homes. I can't tell if these all have cement foundations or if these are able to be moved. But typically, counties, covenants, restrictions, zoning, they want to see permanent foundations on these things. So that may not even be necessary out here. As with all of our properties, we always recommend that you contact the county, you speak to them in advance. Before you give us $14,000, please, do your own research on this sort of thing. That being said, all of our research indicates that whatever you want to do out there, you're going to be able to do. There is no zoning, there are no restrictions, and all of the things that I've already suggested are doable out there. So when it comes to actually doing research on the property, we have some helpful links here as well. McKinley County, you might as well start with the assessor's office because they planning and zoning office, what exists is not easy to get on the phone. So reach out to the assessor's office. They can patch you through to whoever you need to talk to in the county about whatever your specific plans are. If they are so idiosyncratic or unique, you feel like you need to investigate them further, number one. Number two, we also have the local power company out here. Click this link. It's going to take you to their website. If you want to talk to them and you want to see, practically speaking, what it's going to cost to get hooked up out there, to get power extended out to the property from one lot or two lots over, they'll be able to talk to you better about that, obviously, than we can. Additionally, we have some other links here, such as the New Mexico State Engineer. If you're going to build on the property, you want to put in a well, the Office of the State Engineer are the people who you'll need to talk to about that, about getting water rights, about getting permitted for that, etc. Of course, it's always nice to reach out to local vendors in the area, people who actually drill wells, talk to them about water table depth, about practically speaking, what does it cost to actually drill a well out here. Based on the amount of residences that I see in this small area, this tells me that the water table is fairly accessible. I can't believe all these people are bringing in their own water. That being said, it's something you should look into prior to purchase. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, by the way, guys, I don't get into this enough in these videos, but if you do want to go out and scout this property, we encourage all of our buyers, anybody who's going to buy from us, please go out, take a look at these things. If you want to do that, you can do it a couple different ways. Number one is you can just kind of eyeball this one on the map and figure it out. It's right at the end of Johnson Road. Johnson connects to Bluewater, so on and so forth. If you want to get a little more specific with directions, just come up here on Google Maps. Click the directions button, enter your start point, maybe that's your home or the hotel you're staying at when you're visiting the area, and they'll give you turn-by-turn directions which you can print out and take with you. Of course, as an alternative, we also suggest just coming up here, clicking the GPS coordinates on your smartphone, and your smartphone should give you turn-by-turn directions out to the property. All right, so when it comes to purchasing this, I'll just have you guys know we closed on this with Four Corners Title Company, so we have title insurance on it. Additionally, when we get into this price range on properties, we recommend that you close through a title company as well. We don't have a lot of buyers who have credit cards that can accommodate a $14,000 purchase, nor do I find many people who are inclined to just hand me $14,000. So what we recommend, come here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to secure checkout. All we're asking for is $500 up front. This is a non-refundable earnest money deposit. Basically, this just demonstrates to us that you're serious. Once we have that money, we are going to write a sale purchase agreement. We sign it, you sign it, we'll submit it to the title company, they will do the rest. For those of you who are not familiar with title companies or what they do, I would just quickly say here, the benefit to you, the buyer, is number one, we can't touch your money until the property has been deeded into your name, aside from this $500 deposit. So once they're ready to convey the property to you, that's when they ask for the $13,500, the remainder of the purchase price. And again, they don't put it in our bank account until such a time as we've deeded the land to you. So that's the first advantage. The second, of course, is that you're going to get title insurance with the property. So if you are looking to build on the land and you're going to have to take out a loan from a bank, something like that, lender won't lend on a property that doesn't have title insurance. So the fact that this one does, that will afford you more opportunity for financing, FYI. Anyway, fill out this form, guys. Click the button down here. Click the next button. Enter credit card information. You will have deposited the $500, and then you will hear from us mucho pronto, too sweet, and within 24 hours we will have a contract out to you, which again, we sign it, you sign it, we submit it to the title company, and they will do the rest. For the record, we got a page on our website called Buying From Us, how it works, Buying From Us. If you want to read more about this process, if anything I just said was not clear, just come down here and read about the title escrow closing. We generally recommend this for properties over the $10,000 price range, but really we'll do it with any type of property. So if you want to see how that works, or if you want to get a sense of what that sale purchase agreement looks like, you can click on that link. It's going to take you to this generic standard contract that we use, one page for signatures. So if you don't want to give us money, if you're saying, I don't want to hand these people money until I see what kind of contract I'm going to be asked to sign, this is the contract you will be asked to sign, FYI. So look that over, give it a read. Anyway, point being, in summation, I really like these Bluewater Lake properties. I know I've been getting a lot of feedback on these so far. So I'm glad that we could present another one. It's nice to be out this close to a body of water like this, where you can relax, this close to the forest, where you can go hunting, etc., and in an area where there's not, onerous rules or restrictions about what you can and cannot do, build, or park. This is an ideal property for all of you who like to, live free as such. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video.